Hey everybody, it's Morel with Phoenix Magazine. I'm here with Dr. Lynne Kitei at the Arizona Heritage Center to tell you about a special event coming up commemorating the 28th anniversary of a local phenomenon, the Phoenix Lights. Dr. Kitei, the Phoenix Lights are still unexplained, but can you describe them and tell us what they mean for you?
Absolutely. The Phoenix Lights, which is the most witnessed, most documented, most important anomalous aerial mass sighting in modern history, if not all of history. That's why it's so unique that we're here this year for our incredible event, which is the most also fun and informative and unique, the only event like it, where we show our internationally award-winning documentary, The Phoenix Lights, We Are Not Alone, Beyond Top Secret, as well as speakers. We have wonderful speakers this year. Not only Travis Walton, who, if anybody remembers the Fire in the Sky movie,
oh yes,
that happened, and he's one of our resident cast members who really shared not only his sighting, but he saw the Phoenix Lights as well. And we have a brand new speaker this year who is an icon in ufology, Britt Elders, and she'll be here, as well as Navajo Rangers. A lot going on the Navajo Range, and other witnesses. Also, we will have a remote Q&A with none other than our own Alice Cooper.
Oh, love
who
him.
Who also saw the Phoenix Lights twice.
Wow, Alice Cooper.
Yes,
Man,
and he
full
talks
of surprises.
about that. And he talks about that. And also, there was a private pilot that came into Sky Harbor during the mass sighting, which was over a dozen hours. There's a lot of mis and disinformation. That's why we're having this, and that's why the Phoenix Lights Network hosts this wonderful, informative event, because there's so much more to this story. And this private pilot that was flying into Sky Harbor during the mass sighting was none other than Kurt Russell, the actor.
Oh my gosh.
And he was reporting it while I was filming it. I mean, there is so much to this story. And it wasn't just one or two events. It was many events, over a dozen hours, and not just Arizona, throughout Arizona, but also New Mexico and California and Nevada, and actually almost a half a dozen other states while we're having, but it's significant because Phoenix.
Tell me where
the finale here.
Generally people saw them, I mean, in Arizona, and what they saw. Describe what they were seeing.
That's a great question, because as I mentioned, there is so much mis and disinformation out there. It wasn't just one or two events, as you would hear in the media. It was many events, and not just these orbs, these giant orbs that seem to be attached to something. According to air traffic controllers that I was communicating with actually for weeks before the mass sighting, that's how they described them, as six lights.
You saw these before the mass sighting, too, from your bedroom window, which kind of got you thinking,
Well, kind of a close encounter that I photographed. If anybody's interested, go to the Phoenix Lights Network website. It's packed with information. I wanted to really give as much as I could since 2005. I came forward in 2004 after 7 years of anonymity. Didn't want to come forward.
Weren't you known as Dr. X?
That's what they called the person with the lights, with the pictures and the video. My video is a signature video of the mass sighting, of the three endpoints of a massive, over mile wide V or triangle over the airport, over the tarmac. Wow. And you asked about what happened during the mass sighting. While thousands of people were looking skyward for a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet, they also got a glimpse of 1 to 8 mile wide, according to Peter Davenport, the director of the National UFO Reporting Center. Some of these objects, these UAP, unexplained aerial phenomena, were 8 miles wide. These orbs that seemed to be attached to something in rock-solid formation, equidistant from each other, were actual craft. And there's a page on our website called the GAP page, Geospatial Animation Project, a 12-year study. And this is really interesting because people don't know this data. After 12 years, hundreds of reports, 2 or more people had to see the same craft. And there were 10 different craft. Now, whether it was one craft that could morph into looking different, or the perspective from where the person was standing, or a parade. And ultimately, that's what was decided by the investigators, very meticulously looking through the data, because there was so much going on at the same time in different areas, not only in Arizona, from upstate Arizona all the way to the Mexican border and then back to Phoenix, where we had this spectacular light show around 10 o'clock. But other states as well. So there was so much going on. They really feel that it was a parade.
Wow.
And whoever did this, who I'm asked that all the time, why did they come here? It's not only Arizona, it's worldwide. I had no idea. I knew nothing about this topic before my husband and I had a very close sighting to our home, right outside our bedroom window, and I captured 35 millimeter photographs. I'm the only one with 35 millimeter photographs of these UAP, unexplained aerial phenomena, that have been analyzed by military and university optical experts. Total unknowns, true unknowns, and that's why after 7 years of anonymity and pushing my medical career aside to try.
She's a doctor, you guys, an actual licensed MD.
And also my life's work, ironically enough, Morel, was to disseminate the reality of vital health issues with NBC and USA Cable, and I have my own company, Health Education Learning Programs. When this fell in my lap, I knew nothing about it. It was like, now what do I do? And I had to educate myself. 750-page journal later, 7 years later, it was like, how can I stick this in a drawer? And I kept photographing these phenomena too. The photo page is very interesting on the Phoenix Lights Network website if anybody wants to take a peek. Tell me what they are.
Very comprehensive website, guys.
Tell me what they are. Right?
If you want to know a thing or two about the Phoenix Lights, check it out. It's very interesting.
And in 2005, after I came forward, it was like, I couldn't believe all the people. I was working as chief clinical consultant at the Arizona Heart Institute at the time, and nobody knew what I was doing behind closed doors and getting that 750-page journal down to 230 pages of the most compelling data. When I came forward, I couldn't believe doctors and nurses pulled me aside and said, thank you for doing this, to just get it out in the open. That's what I've said. I don't know what these things are, but I know that they are. And it's time we get this topic out in the open, we address it, we accept it, and we study it. So we can find out not only who's driving these things, but also move forward in our own evolution. And one of the things that I wanted to do as well, besides the documentary, which we did the year after we started filming the documentary, to get a visual of, it's really a gentle overview of the topic, the whole topic, but focused on the Phoenix Lights so that people can learn what really happened here from the experts, from the air traffic controllers, from pilots, from witnesses themselves, and then decide for themselves, not trying to convince anybody of anything except the fact, if I can come forward as a voice so people actually look at the data, then I've done my job. And that's why we have this event every year that Phoenix Lights Network hosts. And because if people can come to a place where it's not a UFO thing, we're showing the film, the documentary that's won over a dozen international film festivals. We're very proud of that.
I saw that on the poster. Congratulations.
Yeah, so they can see the documentary, and once they see the documentary, it really pulls them in to question what is really going on. And then we have such wonderful speakers with Travis Walton and the Navajo Rangers, and we have this wonderful new speaker this year, Britt Elders, who is an icon in the field, as well as witnesses themselves. Hearing it from the witnesses themselves is so compelling and really powerful.
And they're not crazy lunatic people. These are credible people that have made a name for themselves, a very respectable population that have witnessed these. I know people personally that have seen them. I'm still waiting for my chance myself. But I have a question for you. With President Donald Trump, he has recently declassified some government secrets. Do you have a comment or a take on that you'd like to share with us about these?
What's really exciting, besides our event here at the Arizona Heritage Center, which is so historic. I mean, the Phoenix Lights are so historic, so to have this as our new home for the event is really thrilling. And the fact that now we're having congressional hearings, UFO congressional hearings, where whistleblowers are coming forward who have seen these things, have taken photographs and video of these UAP, they call them now, unexplained aerial phenomena, which to me, not only does it take the giant step forward to get this out in the public to say, yes, this is real. This is happening. If you want to learn about it, come to our event at the Arizona Heritage Center, because we're going to talk about a lot of things, not just the Phoenix Lights, and we have a Q&A and people can ask questions as well. But it is getting out there more and more. And our own governor, Fife Symington, after mocking.
I remember that.
Mocking the sighting in
Historic,
'97. Oh,
iconic moment.
Oh yeah, he had a meeting where a press conference. It was unscheduled. Okay, where he was going to reveal the culprit of the lights over Phoenix after the day before. There was a giant article on June 18th in USA Today opening up our sighting to the world for the first time. And we were deluged by media from all over the world. And they too are asking, well, why isn't there an investigation? Why isn't there an explanation? And then he called this conference the very next day. And most of us who saw it were very excited. Yes, tell us what's going on. And he brings out one of his aides with a giant alien head costume and made a mockery of it, which was not taken too lightly by the witnesses themselves, especially parents that were with kids that saw something that was 2-3 malls wide, and he's making a joke of it. But I'm very, very impressed that after the 10th anniversary, Symington came forward to say he actually witnessed one of these massive over-mile wide craft, and as an awarded military pilot, he definitely wasn't flares, which was the only explanation they ever came up with, which I can understand. They had to come up with something, and they might have sent off some flares.
Do you think he was just trying to relax the population to make them not maybe fear otherworldly creatures coming in, encroaching on Arizona?
When he did the press conference?
Yeah, by making it funny. Do you think he was just trying to help everybody relax a little bit?
It? But, I think that, when you look at the whole picture, they had to do something because the USA Today article really got this out big time.
Yeah.
I mean, really got it out big time. So that kind of put a lid on the story. But when he came forward after the 10th anniversary, that was very impressive, especially as an awarded military pilot, to say that, in his own words, and by then, I had learned that other countries are using the same word that are much more open to these phenomena. He used the word otherworldly.
Oh, have you had a chance to talk to Fife?
I would
directly about his sighting?
Really love to, just to thank him for coming forward. The more credible people that can come forward, and just like we're doing with the congressional hearings and the whistleblowers. I mean, these are Navy pilots and other military that have been in, they're in the in crowd, that have seen things and have taken photographs, like I have, and video of these unexplained aerial phenomena, and now getting it out in the open. And even actor Kurt Russell, him coming forward, and Alice Cooper, we're going to have both of them at remote interviews at the event on Sunday, March 16th from 1 to 5. I'm really excited because we have a lot of time to people don't want to leave.
I've been to 2 of them. They are very interesting, very action-packed, and they're different. Every year is different, with different speakers and different takes and all of that. At the Arizona Heritage Center, which totally makes sense that you bring the event here this year. The first time this year, new venue, because it is a historical time in Arizona's history, that it definitely belongs here. Sorry, I'm wording that really weird, but the event is so historic, it belongs at the Arizona Historical Society, the Arizona Heritage Center, rather. There are so many things to hear, so many cool treasures. The Wallace and Ladmo display here. Fox Theater replica.
You know that I used to pull a poem out of my pocket as Dr. Lynne. I was on Wallace and Ladmo for some time.
I believe that. She's an actor, by the way. She was actually in Raising Arizona. Yeah, what part did you play there?
I played Florence, Arizona, the mom of the quintuplets. And if you said you recognized me, I'd be mortified. It's a cool character role. And you know what? You want to hear a little trivia?
Sure.
For your audience? Okay. Which I didn't know, by the way. I started speaking worldwide, and they got wind like 2006, 2007 that I had done Raising Arizona. And somebody came up to me after my lecture, and he said, there is a reference to your character, Florence, Arizona, and UFOs in the film Raising Arizona. And I said, really? Because I hadn't watched it. It came out in '87, 10 years before the mass sighting. Okay.
Incredible.
And I hadn't watched it since the late '80s, so I go back to watch. Okay, talk about historic. And the Jikoki Inn at the Phoenician was our home, right?
Right.
And just if anybody hasn't seen Raising Arizona, it really is a cool black comedy. Holly Hunter and Nicolas Cage cannot conceive, so they decide to kidnap one of the Arizona quintuplets, and I was the mom. Anyway, After one of the kids is kidnapped by Nicolas Cage, they have a press conference in front of the Jacoki Inn, and a reporter sticks a microphone in my husband's face. He says, "There's a rumor your son was abducted by UFOs. Is there any truth to that?"
Wow.
And my husband says, "Oh, please, please, son, please. Don't print that. If his mama reads that, she'll lose all hope," which was totally opposite from my own take, because there has not been one report of harm, threat, or abduction associated with the Phoenix Lights phenomena. Can't speak about other things, but I can for the Phoenix Lights. But that's not the only thing, the only reference in the entire film.
Life imitating art in that instance.
But it gets better, because the cinematographer, who is just getting started, just like Francis McDormand and John Goodman and some of the other casts, went on to do Big with Tom Hanks, and When Harry Met Sally with Billy Crystal, and The Addams Family, and Helen West was one. And, you ready? He created and directed the Men in Black series.
Wow.
Barry Sonnenfeld. And
aliens abound.
Wait, it gets better. The first one premiered in 1997, the same year as the Phoenix Lights. Coincidence?
What is the coincidence? Wow.
But this is fabulous, because not only can people come to the event and have a wonderful time at our event, but they can also go through the exhibit. Let me take you,
it's so cool,
you
guys.
through.
Cool.
The first official call came in from Henderson, Nevada, so they have it here, although in reality the mass sighting started at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Daylight sightings throughout our sighting, and 5 o'clock hour there were Native Americans seeing it in New Mexico, 7 o'clock hour and beyond in California, and there were 2 commercial airline pilots that reported that as they were approaching Las Vegas, one of these craft was covering Las Vegas. And the sightings continued all the way until the next...
Vegas for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you go. All the way the next morning until 5:30, there was a crew, a Boeing crew, coming into Sky Harbor Airport, and there was one of the craft hovering over their tarmac at 5:30 the next morning. So even though this was the first official call, there is so much more to the story.
There's a timestamp right there.
There you go.
That's such a cool photo right there. I would hang that up in my office.
Yeah. And if you go to the GAP page, the Geospatial Animation Project, there were different shapes and different lights. I mean, it's really amazing. And, you know, whether it was one craft that could morph or, you know, the perspective, there we go, on March 13th. But the main one that people really know is the V shape. But there was boomerang shape, there was delta shape, and there were even some people, there were pilots that saw discs as well. So there was a multitude. It was a parade.
It's like it's morphing.
It was a parade. It was
it's
a parade.
malleable flying object.
And MUFON just took us from 8:15 on, so they can see, you know, what was happening. And there were thousands and thousands of people outside.
What does this red line represent?
From what they're trying to show, people on the road were pulled over. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, and people were in awe and in wonder. No one was scared. No one was scared. No one felt threatened.
Wow.
It was just the opposite. People were in awe, and I'm doing a study, actually, Morel. Phoenix Lights Experiencer study. We're just finishing up. We just presented it at the Society for Scientific Exploration. They were very impressed. Over 2,000 people participated worldwide. People are seeing the same phenomena. Incredible. It's fascinating, and the results will be out soon. We'll catch you up on that.
Yes, keep us posted on those. I'd like to check them out.
But anyway, this shows where the craft was going. This one craft of the 10 that were, there was so much going on, and some people just saw orbs, but a lot of people saw this craft rooftop level, very, very slowly.
Very low.
And some people saw it take off at blink speed without even dispersing the air, totally silent. That was what was so eerie, especially when it was right over their heads, rooftop level, that there was no sound. Yeah, wow. Amazing. And some people even saw these orbs detach from the main craft, go out into the environment, and then redock with it later.
Oh my gosh.
And if you look at my pictures from '95 on the Phoenix Lights Network website, you will see, I mean, it speaks for itself. 35 millimeter, they're in the negative. They can't be fudged, and they've been analyzed by military and university optical experts as true unknowns. The same phenomena that I would capture 2 months before the mass sighting, head on, turning into a V shape, and the air traffic controllers that I spoke with the next morning couldn't identify what it was. And on March 13th is in those pictures as well, in 95, when we had this close sighting. So maybe that's what happened. These orbs came out. I don't know why they were outside our bedroom window, but it set me going on this story, and here I am today with you. And we
Very
have some
invested.
video. Yes.
She produced, wrote, and directed the documentary, by the way, you guys. And she's written a few books.
Here we go. And I have a coloring book, and a graphic novel activities coloring book as well for all ages. Because I want, parents and teachers, and grandparents and kids to do it together, to learn together, to grow, if they choose.
Family activity.
There you go.
So people are still seeing these lights today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're happening. Like I said, we're having a Navajo Rangers that has such amazing stories to tell. There's so much going on up there, and they'll be here during our event, and they'll also be in the Q&A if people have questions for them, and they see these all the time. And even the Superstition Mountains, we get many reports of these massive craft, like these rod-shaped craft that actually I shot, if you look at the photo page, in 2 separate sunsets a month apart in the same spot. I mean, it's like mind-boggling what's going on out there. But they see these giant craft up in the Navajo range as well as over the Superstitions that have these orbs or discs coming out of them. I mean, there's a lot to this story. There's
Sounds
much
like
more.
a discotheque up in the sky.
There's much more to the story. There's the cover of my first book, and I actually took this picture 1 month after 9/11. It's a real picture. I'd like somebody to tell me what that is. That's my favorite picture.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Symington.
Yeah, this is
press conference article.
Yeah, a plethora of wonderful
Oh
information.
no, that's when he came out.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one where the aide came out with the alien head costume.
Okay. So how can people get tickets to your event?
Okay, if they go on the Phoenix Lights Network website.
And what is the numbers? Or
It is www.thephoenixlights.net.
Okay.
And on the home page and the event page, if they just scroll down a bit, they'll see our awards poster from our documentary. And right underneath, they can order it from, there is the click to go to Ticket Stripe. In fact, let me show you right here. It's great having it at the Heritage Center because there's a huge lobby and people can congregate afterwards, which they usually do in the parking lot. I mean, it's a wonderful venue to have this, and they can come up here and enjoy the Phoenix Lights exhibit as well. But we'll have tables with speakers. There's a half a dozen speakers that will have books as well as myself.
And people can talk to them, ask them questions, and intermingle.
Exactly.
I love that.
And we're going to have
new
a food truck here
element. Oh, yummy.
Yes.
Yummy.
So anybody that's hungry afterwards, it's going to end at 5 or so. We'll be able to get a little munch as well. So we're really excited to have it here, and thank you so much for letting your audience know.
Thanks for doing this. You guys check out the phoenixlights.net. Get your tickets to the event on the 16th of March at 1 p.m. And I love this thing that you always say, keep looking up.